I'm Rudy van der Aar and this is Mohammed, and we're from the Netherlands. And during our high school, we learned Dutch or German language, but I was actually better in history and all those other subjects, so my German is very mwah mwah. So I prefer speaking in English. Es tut mir leid, again. So yeah, so this, sorry, I press this one, right? Or this one? Thank you. Yeah, this looks more easier, actually. So 2 years ago now, we wanted to make a journey, and we wanted to make a pilgrimage. Normally, I think she already said, normally people go by plane, but we had an idea to do it on a wooden bike. So where did it start? It started actually in Maasluis, which is a city nearby Rotterdam. And it took us more or less 2 months to reach Mecca, and we passed about 10 countries. So you can see here actually it's like Germany, Austria, Slovakia, right, Mohammed? What else? Macedonia, Hungary, actually Hungary is before Macedonia, Greece, Egypt, and then Saudi Arabia. The thing actually, by the way, Mohammed is on Skype because he lives in Malaysia, and it was too expensive for him to come here to join this event, so sorry for that. But I guess this actually works very nice. It's for me still it's a bit weird that we are not standing next to each other, but still this works very, very well. Okay. So we started in Maasluis, and we left Maasluis with a group of youngsters. So let's say 20 kids, with the idea to bike to the next city, basically. But they didn't know we wanted to leave Holland for our biking trip. So what we did, we just biked and we just went to the next city. We reached there, and then but we started with planting a fig tree. Because we were explaining, like, if you have a dream, you have to plant a seed basically first to make it happen. You have ideas, you have to water your ideas, and then at the end you can harvest the fruit, and then you reach your goal. So that's what we did start doing without them knowing that we wanted to bike to Mecca, but it just was the start of our journey. And then when we reached the second stop, we explained them. Actually, you are here not to bike only. You're actually saying us goodbye. So we're asking, what are we going to do, blah blah, and then say, we're here to bike to the next city, right? And no, we're going to somewhere else. So where are we going? Do you think? We're going to Japan. Someone said to China. I don't know, definitely not. And one guessed it right. He said Mecca, and then really? Oh, why Mecca? But because we started with this planting seed, like a symbol of your dreams, we explained, okay, we had a dream like 2 years or even more actually before that was biking to Mecca. But you can't just do it right away. You have a seed first to plant, and then talk to people, arrange things, see whether it's possible or not. Because we were the first from Netherlands who did this, so like, is this really a good idea or not? But thank God it happened, and we managed. But it started actually later. Maybe it's a good thing you can, Mohammed, you can add your things after I've done talking about my, how you say this? Where it all began. Yeah? Thank you. So weird talking to a screen. Anyway, so actually, in 2011, I went to Mecca for the first time for a small pilgrimage called Umrah. But I felt more like a tourist instead of someone who, doing a pilgrimage, like mentally and physically, doing effort to reach some place. I was actually paid for this journey. A friend of mine said, we want to support someone, a young person, to go on this life-changing journey. Would you love to go? And I first thought, really? Okay. Like, if I didn't have the money for it, so I said, okay, I want to go there. And of course, I like being there for the first time. I did I saw some beautiful things. I did some rituals, which I really like to do. But something was not right for me, because again, we went by plane, we took a bus, we visited some places, and I felt more tourist because I felt kind of lazy as well. You don't do like effort how people did it back in the days, you know. They walked even, or you know, go on a camel, but yeah, we just go by plane and take the bus. So that was one thing, and second thing was that I saw a lot of waste in Mecca as well, on a very specific place, which called the mountain of Jabal al-Nur, the mountain of light, where our Prophet Mohammed, peace be upon him, received his first messages. And when I went there, before I went there, I saw actually a documentary first from the BBC about this specific mountain, which was very, very, very nice film, well, nicely filmed, like nice light, you know, and nice shots and stuff. And I thought, oh, I really want to go there. When I'm in Mecca, I want to visit that place. But then I saw just, instead of a blue river of nice, you know, water, I saw a blue river of plastic bottles, like, oh. And it made me so sad that I saw that waste on such a important place, actually. So that was the second thing which made me like very confused. So I was actually very down during this trip, and luckily a friend of mine, before I left, she gave me the book, Green Deen, which is on Islam and how protecting the planet Earth. So I went back to the big mosque, I was sitting and I was reading this book, and normally I'm not a person who reads, I like reading actually, but this book I finished like very fast. And it gave me so much like peace in my mind, because I had like really a confirmation that all these problems and all these feelings I have during this trip, it's not about my religion, it's about what people do, and this like global problem we have with waste and, you know, climate change is something we have to deal solving with everyone, you know, Muslim, non-Muslim, etc. So it makes me more, you know, quiet. And then I also made an intention. After reading that, if I have to go back to Mecca, may it be on more a way I really prefer, I really like going. And then I met Mohammed, and the story continues from there on. So yeah, Mohammed, maybe you can join in, fill in your story shortly. Talk, please. Now. Yeah. You can talk.
I'm sorry. Okay, so you want to hear my side of the story?
Yes.
Okay. Can anyone hear me good?
Yeah. Yes.
Works fine. Okay. Good. Normally, when you say guten Tag in Arabic, normally the response is the whole crowd is reacting. So I will just try it again. Guten Tag, allemaal.
Guten Tag. Hallo.
Okay, so this means the public is alive. Okay. So I should pause here.
Yes, that's better.
Okay, so yeah, where shall I begin? Like, the story is a really long story. There are many perspectives on the story. Every time I think about it, I think, wow, this story gave us so much. Even the fact that we are now today presenting this story to you guys, for me, it's really an honor to have this opportunity again to share this story with someone like with Germany. Like, it's the first time that we went out of the country, Netherlands, to share our story. Unfortunately, as I told you, I could not be there. Am I talking too fast?
It's fine. Just keep it briefly.
So, okay. Maybe Rudy, you can just finish your story, and then whenever you're finished, I will complete the story.
Okay, but then it will be on the whole journey, okay?
Yeah. Okay. Better.
So this is the picture of our start of the journey. So this is the place where we actually planted the tree with the youngsters, and I told them we are going to Mecca. As you see, it's a wooden bike. You may think, why wooden? And yeah, that was also a question that rings my mind, because 2 weeks before we left, I was representing a company where I worked for, which was a company who was recycling coffee grounds for production of mushrooms. And during this event, someone came to me and he said, "Oh, I really want this idea to develop in Greece, where the owner of a company works at." And I said, yeah, I would really like to. And actually, I was thinking, no, I don't really want to because I want to quit working for this company, actually. But I didn't tell him, of course. But I said, no, I'm planning to have a biking trip for 2 months, so I'm not able to do so. So sorry for this, blah, blah. But I didn't know he was also a really biking fan. So he asked questions to me. Yeah, where are you going to? Yeah, to Mecca with a friend. And really, blah, blah. But then he left. And I was like, oh, this kind of weird, conversation. This guy was very enthusiastic, and then he left suddenly. So after 30 minutes, he came with this wooden bike. He said, you can go to Mecca on this wooden bike. Okay, this is very random. And I said to him, yeah, but I go with a friend. I said, then you get 2 bikes. I said, oh, okay. So we made a test drive, and then we're thinking, wow, wooden bike, this thing is 18 kilos, it's kind of heavy, and it's wooden, of all things. But then we noticed, because we wanted to promote sustainability as well during our trip, and we want to connect with people, we noticed that when we were driving with this bike on the streets in Amsterdam, people wanted to talk to us, and they say, "Oh, nice wooden bike." Blah, blah, blah. And then, oh, maybe it's a good idea to go with this wooden bike. But the bike only itself has 2 gears, so sometimes it was very easy to go in Germany on these hilly surfaces. But it was actually very fine because but that is another story actually. So that's for later. So that's why we choose this wooden bike. And well, like I said, our journey was about connection as well. And the first place we stayed was in Netherlands. Was at Ineka's place. And first thought she has was 2 Muslims in my house? No way. But that has a story because it was our fault, basically. It was very stupid, actually, from me. Because I entered my question with, can we crash at your place? And because crashing means, staying, she didn't do this, and she immediately thought crashing, like boom, like crash, literally crash. And 2 Muslims, no, that's not a good thing. She thought, no, I'm not accepting these Muslims. But then she thought, no, I can't have this this judgmental thought. So I should give them a chance to meet and la la la. And that is actually she told me when I was sitting with her at the dining table. She said, "Look, I have to make a confession because whenever you when the time you send me this message and you end the message with crashing, I thought you wanted to bomb my place." And then she thought, "No, I can't have this judgment." So I actually was very surprised, of course, firstly. But then I was really happy she was so honest to me that she, had this mind, and then she made another decision. So yeah, it was very nice, actually. And of course, we stayed at German people's houses also. This German family was so nice. Within 10 minutes, they just left their whole house to us because the mom has to go to yoga classes, the daughter had to go to volleyball, then the cousin who was there also had to go to basketball lessons. So then we were just alone, like, huh? Okay, this is weird, like this whole big house for ourselves. So we start cooking for them, and then they came back, of course, and we had a very nice conversation. And at the end, we helped out with making food packages from leftover food from supermarkets for refugees. So yeah, we just learned a lot also during this connection with this German family. This is also a German host, and the thing for me, what I learned the most was never have a judgment yourself as well, because when I opened my, we used also couch surfing and another platform which calls Warm Showers, which is for bikers only. But on couch surfing, I found this host in Koblenz. His picture was kind of weird. It was not a normal picture from a regular guy, but his face was a bit yeah. I was just shocked by his picture. And then I said to Mohammed, "This is kind of weird person, no?" And then he said, "No, you can't be like this. You don't say this to, you don't never met him." I said, "Of course, no, sorry. But I just realized, myself, now I have also a judgment about another person. But then when we reached his house, we saw why this picture was so weird, because this was a guy who was mentally physically very ill. He couldn't move his arms, neither his legs. He was in a wheelchair, and his wife, which is perfectly perfect and healthy, took care of him. And then, wow. And he was the first person who responded because he was talking through a specific a machine, which you talk and then the computer types it out for you. And I was so flabbergasted that he was the one who was the first responding. And then he also shared his stories. He's traveling a lot, and I was like, wow, bam, gone judgment. Yeah, this is for another post. The thing before, for example, where was this? Oh, in Austria. We were kaput. The thing also, what happened is that out of nothing, people also giving things to us. For example, the German family, out of nothing, they gave us woolen socks and hats and whatever we needed actually, without asking. In my head, I was thinking, oh, I really need a wooden hat because it was so cold. It was in Germany the coldest month, and for me, the hardest month to bike in. But then they just gave us this woolen stuff. Also in Austria, we're just sitting, and people were just giving us coffee for free, and we literally were kaput, like broken. And we just found a card out of nothing, and we just write this to thank the waitress. And so also something which also the benefits of biking is that you are more in touch with nature, which also happened on the second picture. Even with the smallest animal, you have a connection, such as this like little fly here on my back, which biked like 10 kilometers. What was it? Yeah, 10 kilometers with us at least. After I spilled water on my back, like what, and we were biking in Egypt, so it was very warm in the desert and stuff. And I was drinking, and precious water just fell off my mouth, and then I felt on my back. Like, oh. But then there was like a little fly coming and just drinking all the water which I spilled. Like, oh, interesting. And I was like so observed with this fly, and then I did this and this, and it didn't flew away. So it was just my extra biking friend. So again, this is also a benefit of biking, that you are more in touch with your environment. So that's something we really experienced. And also when we arrived in Cairo, for example, we held 2 hours presentation, and you can collaborate later on this, Mohammed, for 2 hours. Even before we reached that place, before Mecca, first we thought, why do we need to present something we didn't even reach, like the goal? We didn't even reach Mecca, but then we just talked for 2 hours, and we had a nice conversation and so on. So there's also a benefit of that. It was so nice. And talking about judgment again, because the thing what happened during our biking trip is that in every country we came, the people from this country, warned us for the people in the other country, like the next country. Like whenever we, also in Netherlands, they say, oh, don't bike through Germany, like, oh, don't go there because there are weird people, blah, blah, blah. And then, why are you making us afraid? Because we didn't even reach that place. Why are you doing this? So in every country, we have to go through all those judgmental thoughts of people who, made us think like that. But yeah, thank God, all those judgments fade away because we're getting in touch with people. People, shared a lot with us. They gave us a lot of things, and we experienced the most warm, connections. But the last judgmental I had personally was for the Saudi people. Because in Egypt, the country where we were before, they said, if you bike on the highway in Saudi, they're going to put you in jail because the people there are very strict and very mean. Of course, the government, you can say a lot of things, it's not perfect, but the people itself, I didn't know actually. So what happened, we were biking on the highway, and it happened. There was a police officer. He came out of his car, he smashes his door, and shit, I thought, really, scheisse. Very angry, sorry. Very angry, and he was talking Arabic, and since I don't understand Arabic, I didn't know what he was saying. So, and then he smashes his door, and he drove away. And then, because I already wanted to show my passport, and I was preparing a very, conversation peaceful. So I asked Mohammed, what did he say? He said, why are you biking here? It's dangerous. But yeah, go on. It's your own responsibility. Yalla, go. It's like, okay, is that all? Yeah, that's all. Okay, no. Phew, judgment gone. But then I thought, okay, this judgment, it didn't, came to reality. But I was really afraid that whenever we reach Mecca, because yeah, it's like not a place where bikers go to. I thought, okay, when we arrive there, they're gonna be a bit, mad, la la la. So what happened here? Okay, we were arriving, and then we saw this guards, like, oh, now it's gonna happen. So we stop, and then, hello, salam. And what happened? They start making selfies. Like, oh, okay, this is totally different than what I expected. And they were very nice. And they said, yeah, do your rituals, and then we park your bike somewhere here for you to keep it, to make sure it's safe. And I thought, oh, okay, good. No jail, nothing. They were just happy and good. And yeah, so as you see, we just reached Mecca here with our. They call it ihram. It's like the white cloth, which is a symbol of purity and equality. It was.
Another question: are you driving with this outfit?
From one city, like from Jeddah, a city in Saudi Arabia, from Mecca, which is more or less 100 kilometers. We bike in this. Not the whole, no. The thing is also underneath this thing, there's no underwear. But yeah, you can also say maybe Mohammed, like once it almost happened that Mohammed's thing lifted a bit up, like, ah! And then Mohammed like, what's wrong? It's like, ah! But I couldn't say it because it almost showed your whole thing. But luckily it didn't happen at the end. So what we do when we arrived there, of course, we did our rituals. It was very nice, of course, the things we saw and we did. But also one reason why we went there is, I wanted to show Mohammed also the mountain I was talking about, which I saw in 2011, which was the Jabal Nur. So as you can see, this is like ocean of bottles, and this is a refrigerator, like a 2x2 thing, which is this here. So yeah, how it doesn't go out there by itself. So yeah. This was there, so we decided to clean up a bit ourselves, but also start a campaign to use this also on social media because, we use Facebook and so to share our stories. So we made, for example, also these leaflets to hang in the shops where people could buy drinks on the feet of the mountain in different languages. To make them aware of, okay, please keep the mountain clean, blah, blah. We also cleaned up ourselves a bit, involved taxi drivers because taxi drivers are bringing all those pilgrims to that mountain. So we thought maybe they are a good link to tell the people, please don't put your waste, throw your waste on this mountain. Some local government also joined, and what I said, the media. But unfortunately, this is the mountain gets faster dirty than it becomes cleaner. So it's like if we want to do something about this like small, actually very big thing, we have to work together as a whole world. The government of Saudi also has to help. So hopefully at another point we can make it bigger when we go back, hopefully, yeah.
So did I get that straight? That is a part of the ocean, so the sea just breaks all these bottles right to that place?
Actually, this is the mountain where pilgrims come to visit because it's the mountain where the Prophet got his first revelation, basically. It's not near the sea at all. It's just a mountain where people go back. There's like thousands of people come here every day. But since there are very little amount of trash, how call this? Trash cans, boxes, and people unfortunately bring also their culture habits to this country as well. They just make it dirty, and I don't know how this came here, but there's also illegally activities going on there probably. Just put the fridge there.
This is the trash from years, not just 1 year from.
I also spoke to like a professor who came there in the 80s, 70s, and unfortunately, then it was also a problem. He said, now it's plastic bottles. Back in the day, it was like Pepsi cans, also blue. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's like disgusting. Probably, yeah, because it doesn't dissolve as well. Maybe Pepsi is better than plastic, though. I'm not sure. So you see, we made these leaflets. We made also plastic trash boxes out of plastic bottles, somehow to make them aware that you also can recycle those things. In the future, hopefully, we also have a plan to maybe go there with 3D printers and see, let the people see that this plastic has value instead of just dump it and stuff. But yeah, it's a matter of making awareness. So what we did was just cleaning this small part, and as you see, that is more cleaner. I was so sad to see all those plastic bags in this tree. And I was so happy to see a tree, but it was a tree with plastic. But it's just, the funny thing is that people, I think it's a global thing, people see cleaners or like pickers as a negative, it has a negative association as well in public schools or high school. If you have to pick up trash, you know, it's just negative, it's like something you don't do for fun. And also here, when I was doing things, people say, oh, and they wanted to even give me money, but I said, no, I'm not, no, whatever, you can give me the money. But I just want to show them, if you give a good example, you know, it's fun actually, you know, it's also an exercise. So yeah, so that is this, and in total we spent there an extra month to work on this thing, and also, you know, to feel more connected with the place itself. Unfortunately, we had to fly back because of work and stuff, but otherwise we also had to bike back. Yeah, that is this. And yeah, when we got back in town, basically, we had to, like, what can we do now when we're here? Because yeah, we are not like connected with Saudi Arabia. If you go to Saudi Arabia, it's a bit difficult to stay there because they don't allow you to stay longer, except for people who work or who go on pilgrimage. So we thought, okay, what are we going to do? So what we're doing now is a project on litter, actually, in Rotterdam city. So people, children from primary schools are helping the streets, help cleaning the streets. Sorry, like practically to make it like fun and to let them feel okay. It's not a bad thing to do. Of course, it's not always it's not their fault that the streets are dirty, because most of the time, like, youngsters or elderly make the street dirty, not these kids. But thank God also like high schools are involved in this project, and older kids to make it like more connected. And there's also like an educational program, so it's not only like practical, but also like an education program, because we felt like morally like responsible to continue working on this kind of subject, like sustainability, like cleanliness, etc., etc. Because actually, yeah, Mohammed can confirm that actually he thought after this biking trip we would never see each other again, because he has other plans, like doing his master's or PhD or whatever, and I do my own thing. But at the end, we start working together on a daily basis and starting more projects. So it's actually fun. Another project is Geloven in Groen, which is probably almost the same in German. Glauben in Groen, something like this. In which we work with like prayer houses, so churches, mosques, and temples, to make their prayer houses more sustainable. So to look at their like to work on solar energy, to isolate better, etc. But we talk about this, and we also like compare our beliefs and exchange knowledge on this. So this is actually a very, very nice project. And we also worked with this project on making gardens. For example, this is one garden at the mosque we work at, because CO2 emulsion doesn't start only in a building, but it's also outside. So we thought, okay, we can also extend this project to outside. So in this garden, for example, we got rid of 2,000 tiles, in cooperation with children to make them also feel more connected through nature in this in urban area. And now this is our page, but before I quit talking, now is the time for Mohammed to share a bit of his story. So go on, the floor is yours. Or not the floor, but the screen or whatever.
Okay, thank you everyone again. Okay, first of all, it's here 2 o'clock in the morning, almost 2 o'clock, and the journey had a lot of beautiful things. Rudy mentioned a couple of them, but he forgot the biggest thing, the biggest gift, at least for me, is not maybe not the biggest, but one of the biggest things is a person I met in Egypt. Rudy just mentioned there was an unexpected presentation for 150 students. And he had a certain translator, and I had a certain translator. That certain translator was a woman that is sitting now next to me, and we are married together, just recently. So just because it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I said, okay, you have to wait for a moment to sleep, because she really wants to sleep. And I thought, just wait, I want to present you for the first time to the German people. So here she is, give her a round of good applause. This is my wife, Rudy. She really wants to sleep, but I just have to do this. Okay, she insisted I won't answer questions. I said okay, and she really said no, I not want to say hello, but I forced her. A good start of the marriage. And yeah, no, I'm just joking. Okay, so where should I start? Usually I like to be interactive. This is the first time for me using Skype. I will try to be interactive as much as possible. And if you have questions, just ask. I will try to answer them directly. So this story has also a beginning for me, but it was a different beginning than Rudy's. I met Rudy in 2011. He was saying that he went to Mecca in 2011, but that was not true. In 2011, he was with me in Switzerland, where I met him in a conference center about learning to be a peacemaker and learning to live in a multicultural world. And I met him there, and since then we were friends forever, friends for life. And he went to Mecca in 2013 or 14. And I also went to Mecca in 2013, 14. But I always wanted to go to Mecca on a bike. Not always. It actually started with me with a bike journey to the beach. So I live in a small city like Maassluis, nearby Rotterdam, and the beach is around 12.5 kilometers. When you go back and forward, it's 25 kilometers. And I always wanted to see the sunset at the beach. But to go there, the most easy way is either car or train. But to be honest, I was too greedy to buy a train ticket. And for me, the easiest, cheapest, not the easiest, but the cheapest way to go was just to grab a bike and cycle to the beach. So that's what I did. And while I was biking through the nature to the beach and seeing the sunset and then go back, for me, I did this regularly. I noticed that I really could reflect good. Normally, I was busy with work, busy with study, but for me, this moment of cycling to the beach was a moment of reflection, a moment of peace, and it was there and then that I said to myself, okay, I want to cycle further. I want to reflect more in the nature, but through cycling. I said, okay, but in Netherlands, I thought back then, Netherlands somehow don't have nature. So I thought, okay, I have to go far away. Then I asked myself, where do you want to go? And the first answer and the only answer that popped into my head and heart was Mecca. But I said to myself, okay, Mecca, whoa, how will you do this? And like, first I went home and like I Googled, and for me, bike traveling was a whole new thing. Like, can I ask you guys, who is a bike traveler?
A half person.
Was was goed erbij?
Okay, interesting.
2 persons.
Yeah, what? Can I ask the sister, what kind of bike travel did you do?
Small bike travels, but bike travels to my work and so on. So it's a kind of a travel to the Danube. It's similar to your travel to the sea in Vienna, going by bicycle to the Danube and going around the river and so on and going back. So one wish, inshallah, is to go with the bicycle to Mecca.
Okay, bring Rudy with you, okay? For me, if I would ask you guys, if you go on a bike travel, so none of you, except for one, don't have experience with bike travel. What would you like? What would your first step be if you would go like a far away place? What would you bring with you? What would you do? What will your first step be?
What would you bring?
Once more, please. I don't know. I'm trying.
What would you bring if you go very far away on a bike? What is the most important thing you
I
want
have
to
no
bring?
bike.
Sorry. But if you have a bike, what would you bring?
Things to repair the bike and like an extra wheel or something.
An extra wheel? Yeah. Possible.
Probably a tube.
A tube?
That's what I meant.
Water, lots of water.
Lots of water, sure. Yeah.
Functional
What else?
clothing. First aid.
First aid. Oh, really? I forgot that actually.
A translator.
Translator.
A car to put the bike in the trunk.
Wow, a car. Put the bike in the trunk. That's a good one.
Some people in London, like some people after us, also went to Mecca on a bike, and they actually brought a car with them. It was an option for some people. But when I usually ask this question, what would you bring with you? People usually answer this question in a practical way. So they will say a new wheel, or first aid, or other things. But I'm through deciding, like, whatever you take with you, there is always something that is missing. And what you really need to take with you is like to have, you need to take patience with you, for example. I have to have a lot of patience for dealing with Rudy.
This is quite charming, isn't it?
No, okay, let me clarify this point directly. Like after the journey, I asked Rudy, was there a time during the journey that you regret that you went with me, you know? He said, no. I said, oh, oops, I did. Like, for me, in Germany, in Austria, when I was with Rudy, there was some time that I regret why did I go with Rudy? But later on, I will explain this in this talk. I really realized because I was annoyed at certain moments. Because, for example, in Germany, he told me, "Okay, can we slow down?" I said, "Why?" Because, like, recently I had a knee operation. I said, "Okay, why did you tell me this before the journey?" Okay, this was one thing. Second thing, also in Germany, no, it was in Austria. We had like an appointment with our host at 6 o'clock. And at 5 o'clock, we still had to cycle for around 12 kilometers. We already cycled for like 100 kilometers to Vienna. Or not to Vienna, almost nearby Vienna. And then the Yeah, so we had to pump it every time. But like I brought a pump with me from Morocco, but this pump, instead of giving air, was taking the air out of the wheel. Yeah. So it was useless. So we still had 20 kilometers, and then Rudy told me, okay, let's just grab a train for the last part. Then we are sure that we will make this appointment with the host. I told him, no, I don't want to grab a train. You can grab a train, but I want to cycle. And then again, like the wheel, the tire, kept on being empty. And then at a certain moment, again, we passed by a train station, and then Rudy, like he was saying, Mohammed, stop, there's a train station. I heard him, but I ignored him.
So mean.
And then,
Dangerous.
for the first time, then, my bicycle broke. So, and then I told Rudy, okay, you know what? Rudy said, okay, I will just grab the train. I said, okay, I will try to fix the bike. I went like for 1 hour in the city to try to fix the bike, but it couldn't, it didn't work out. So eventually I also took the bike, also took the train. And then in the evening, he said, when we arrived at the place of the host, he said, you know what? Tomorrow we also will take the train. And then I told him, listen, I did not, like, intention was to buy to Mecca, not to go out. I said this because I was annoyed. But to be annoyed because of Rudy is a little bit weird. Because if you know Rudy, it's really difficult to be annoyed. So I asked myself a question. Because normally I don't get annoyed by people. But now I was annoyed. And more specific, I was annoyed by someone who cannot annoy you. At least if you know his head. And so I asked this question to myself, why are you annoyed? And then I figured out being annoyed is like just lack of patience in your own mind and heart. So then I said, okay, I did not brought a lot of patience with me in my baggage. So this is one of the things you really need when you go on a long distance journey. So it's not necessarily about the right partner. It's about having the right right character and right mindset to deal with whoever is on your path. And I will explain later in 5 minutes why I think Rudy was the best, like one of the biggest gifts also, next to my wife. Lately I told my wife, you are not the biggest gift of the journey. She said, oh, who is? You know, she was like a little bit, she thought I was referring to Rudy. But I was actually not referring to Rudy. I was telling her the biggest gift of my journey is the fact that I finally know what gratitude means. Because I usually, before the journey, I did not know what gratitude means. I used to read books about gratitude, I interviewed people, what is gratitude, but I never, so I knew it maybe with my mind, but I didn't know it with my heart. I used to say thank you, and I used to say like feel it, but not in a deep way, and not in a way that you always want to say thank you for the same favor. So this journey really made me like realize the value of gratitude in many ways. So being grateful for Rudy, being grateful for my wife, being grateful for the many people we met, being grateful for the fact that we had so many special moments, the moments you cannot just describe. Just for example, like Rudy just mentioned an example, that someone in Germany gave us a hat and socks, right? You know what this is? Yes, okay, I see someone knocking his head, so this means yes. And this was actually really special. Every time we had the feeling that we need something, the same moment, the same day, the favor came from somewhere, and we did not even ask for it. So this particular day, it was in Kelheim. Maybe you know where Kelheim is. It was a really cold day, and Rudy had like 8 trousers and 4 sweaters. No, I'm sorry. 8 sweaters and 4 trousers. Okay? I just had 2 sweaters and 2 trousers, and for me it was okay. But he was still complaining about, oh, it's too cold, it's too cold. And he said, I only wait for a wooden hat and a wooden socks. And then today, when we arrived the journey in the house of the German family that Rudy was just referring to, they give us this wooden hat and socks without even us mentioning it. And this happened throughout the whole journey, every day in a certain way.
Yeah.
Just to mention a small example in Egypt.
Mohammed, we hebben niet zo heel veel tijd meer trouwens. We hebben niet heel veel tijd meer, dus hou het kort.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So that was like small. Like in Egypt, my bike needed like a certain screw. Like, how do you call it, a screw?
Yeah,
Really screw, how to say?
a screw.
Yeah, okay. So, but in Egypt, finding a bike shop is like rare. You cannot just find it everywhere. So what we did, like a good job to find a bike shop that had this certain screw. We went to 5 bike shops in the city of Rädern, and no one had this screw. Then, okay, we just struggled in the desert, and then all of a sudden Rudy said, oops, not oops, he said he saw like the screw that we needed in the desert. And for me, this was, okay, for me, this is like a mercy from God. And this mercy of God, according to me, is not only limited to a certain kind of group, it's limited to all kinds of humans, all kinds of creation. And realizing this is also, there is a certain responsibility, like you have to take care of this, the things that God gave love. God gave love to everything, to nature, to creation in general, to people.
Shukran, Mohammed. You can go to sleep now, I guess. No, we have to round up, sorry. I really would like to thank you. And yeah, good night. Guten, what is it in German? Guten Nacht. Yeah, again, of all of us, it was so nice to speak here and share our story. Of course, as you noticed, there's so many things to collaborate on more, but since the lack of time, we also want to give the stage to another speaker. But again, if you have questions, we can also talk afterwards, and also you can email us or whatever. So if someone has a question now, is there some question?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you.